let me go ahead and show you the two camping stoves that I have that run on gasoline or Coleman fuel, i.e. liquid fuel. Now, the one that's the budget stove, the one that's not made in the US, it's not the Coleman one. There's actually one thing that I like about that one more than the Coleman, and I haven't even taken it out of the box, and I'll tell you what that is in a minute. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with this, I believe it's a Coleman 508 Alpha stove. And I believe that these are made in Wichita, Kansas. And the way that these work is they work off of pressure and gasification. So I do believe that this gas reservoir right here will take 17 ounces of either regular gasoline that you get at the pump or that Coleman clean fuel. I call it clean gasoline or clean gas, right? And then what happens is, I'm going to show you how I start these. It works off of pressure. You pressurize it by pumping this little pump and pressurizing the inside of this reservoir. And then what will happen is the gas will start flowing through this tube. And as this tube gets hotter, it will enable the gas inside to turn from a liquid gas to a gaseous gas, making it burn a lot more efficient. All right. So that's pretty much how these work. Why are these nice for the winter time? Because butane and propane, when they come in smaller canisters, they don't work that great in the winter time. But this pretty much never fails. Let's hope it doesn't fail today, right? Now, let's go ahead and take the budget model out of the box, see what it looks like. And let me tell you what's the one thing so far, without even taking it out of the box, that I like about it more so than what I like about this Coleman. I do hope that you can see this okay, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and open this up. Let me tell you right away what it is that I think I like more about this one than I do this one without taking it out of the box. Is that this one comes with 3 different orifices. Now, an orifice is the little tip that the gas comes out of. Now, this one comes equipped with a gasoline orifice that allows you to pump gasoline or clean gas through it. But it also comes one where you can use kerosene if you would like, i.e. diesel. And or you can use alcohol. All you have to do is change it over to whatever fuel it is that you want to use. I think that is a really good idea because it gives you the availability of using 3 different fuels instead of 1. Now let's take it out of here and see what it looks like. We don't need any directions, ladies and gentlemen. It's got a bag, a carrying bag, and I'm assuming that inside this carrying bag you have those orifices that I told you about. Oh, look at that. Pretty nice. Comes with a little funnel. That'll be handy. And here you go. See that? This one says, I got to make sure I don't lose that. This one says it's for alcohol. And then, and these look like the ones that you have on like on your range. If you have a gas range, that's what these look like. And look at that, diesel fuel, which means that I can probably put heating oil in there. Very nice to have that, indeed. And it looks like it comes with a tool that allows you to change them out. Very nice. Put that back in there so we don't lose them. And now this one looks similar to this one. It's got somewhere where you can put the gas. It's got a pump right here. It's got your valve, on-off valve. This one's a little different than this one, whereas you can bring these out or leave them in. And it also has your gasification tube right here. Other than that, it looks pretty much like it works the same way. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but the orifice for this one is right in there. Probably won't be able to see it. It's kind of hiding. There it is, right there. Let's go ahead and fill this one up before we mess with the Coleman. That way the gas will already be in there. Ladies and gentlemen, although this is a 50-to-1 gas container, this one has regular gasoline in it. I believe that this takes like 17 ounces of gasoline or clean fuel, clean gas. There you go, that's full enough. Go ahead and close it up. One thing I like about these stoves is that I can handle the parts with my gloves on. Not too bad. Now, ladies and gentlemen, don't get confused. I decided to make the second part of this video where I went ahead and reviewed both of the budget and the Coleman liquid fuel camping stoves. Now let me tell you really quick why it is that I decided to go ahead and remake the second part of the video where I actually turn them on and show you how they run. Because during the first part I was doing a video where I was testing a tent, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have that video out anytime soon because the file got corrupted, except for that part where I was actually reviewing these stoves. And during that video, ladies and gentlemen, the temperature outside when I was reviewing the stoves and starting them, it was only like maybe 10 or 15 degrees below zero. But check this out. Today it is 40 plus degrees below zero. That 40 is in the negative, ladies and gentlemen, and it is very cold out here. I know I'm just wearing my bear suit, a hat, and gloves, but I'm going to try to make this very quick. And I want to prove a point that with these stoves, you can actually wear your gloves. You don't need that much dexterity with your fingers in order to get them started. And I've found that the best thing to use to get these started out here is a match and not a lighter. So let's go ahead and let me show you how it is that each of these turn on. They're very similar, but I want to know if they'll turn on in negative 40 plus degree weather. And look at this. This has just been hanging out here for days ever since I shot the video where I was reviewing the tent. And let me tell you what, I was gonna get upset that those files got corrupted, but I decided not to because it's not gonna do any good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here's our budget camp stove, liquid fuel camp stove, and this is our Coleman 508 Alpha. There we go. Let's go ahead and take it out of here. And here we go. And they both still have fuel in them, so we don't have to fuel them up. And you can see that they're both pretty similar to each other, as I've already showed them to you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and start our budget one, and then we're going to start our Coleman and see how they look next to each other. So the budget one is the same thing. You just pump it. And the one thing about this budget one, it doesn't pump the same as the Coleman. You just pull it up, and it kind of like pushes itself back in. See that? So you don't have to like go like this. You can if you want, but if you go like this, okay, so that one's pumped up. Let me pump this one up too, because my fingers are starting to get cold now. Now this one you have to unscrew, that way you can be able to pressurize it. And then there's a little hole in here that you have to cover as you're pumping it. You're going to pump it about 25-30 times to make sure that it's got good pressure in there. And then once you've done pumping it, you just go ahead and twist it until you close it. And it keeps that chamber pressurized. But again, let's go ahead and put this one to the side. So now all we have to do is we have to turn this on by bringing it this way. And as you turn it on, there's going to be a little bit of gasoline that comes out. And then that gasoline that comes out is going to go ahead. Now, when you first turn it on, it's going to look like it's uncontrolled, but it's not. That is why it's very important that you do this outside. And then you keep it about halfway. And then what's going to happen is this tube right here is going to get hot. That's our gasifying tube, and it's going to turn that gas, that pumping through there, into a gas instead of a liquid. But that takes a couple of minutes to do. So as long as you have this about halfway open, you can take this and put it to the side, and then it should start gasifying itself. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing with our Coleman. You see, our Coleman, in my opinion, starts a little bit better than this one right here. For our Coleman to start, all we have to do is turn this little knob down, and you'll be hearing it hiss a little bit. And now that we got it started, and I can see that that one turned off. Now that we got this started, we'll go ahead and give it about another 25-30 pumps, and then we should set it aside, and then it should equalize itself into a blue flame. Let's give this one another try, see what happens. Let's pump it up some more. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, that in these cases, like, you want to get the very best that you can afford in these cases, and not always is the budget item going to be what you want. Because right now, if I was counting on this stove right here, my fingers are pretty frozen already. So let's go ahead and give this another try and see if we can get it started and keep it started. And there you go, I've got both of these completely open. I'm gonna go ahead and walk inside, let my hands warm up for a minute, come back out and see how they're doing. So I went inside for about 5 minutes, and this is what it looks like when I came back out. It looks like both flames have stabilized, and as you can see, the flame on our budget model, in my opinion, is nowhere near as efficient and as strong as our Coleman. I'm going to give it a few more pumps and see if we can get a better flame out of it. But this flame is a little bit erratic, and I do have it completely open. Let's see what happens if I close it a little bit. Nothing. I'm going to pump it a little bit more. I'm not sure if it's user error, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm doing everything right. But this flame, it just doesn't look anywhere near as strong as this one on our Coleman. Now let's take a look at our Coleman. I have it wide open as well. And as you can see, that flame is very nice and it's very efficient. There's a little bit of yellow or orange on the top, but most of it is nice and blue. Let's give this one a few more pumps as well and see how it works out. Let's see. And that right there looks like it's as good as it's going to get, which in my opinion is pretty good. Now here's a closer look, ladies and gentlemen. This is our Coleman. Take a look at our flame, and let's see how well we can control this flame. Right here is wide open. Let's bring it down some. So can you like cook a pot of rice with this if you wanted to? And in order to cook rice well, you're going to have to be able to control your flame. Right there is pretty nice and low. And that right there is about as low as I would allow it to get. If not, I think it would turn off. Let's go ahead and turn it back on. And there you go, that's on high again. Now let's compare it to our budget model. You can hear, ladies and gentlemen, our budget model it almost sounds like it's struggling to stay working, you know, for the flame to stay on. Let's go ahead and I'm giving it a few pumps here, see if that'll help to give it a steady flow, I guess. And no, the only thing that those pumps did, ladies and gentlemen, was bring a little bit of gasoline outside here. So absolutely not. That, in my opinion, is not safe. Not at all. Let's go ahead and see if we can adjust the flame any. That right there is completely open. Let's go ahead and see how low we can bring it. That right there is pretty low. And that's as low as I would bring it, or else I think it'll turn off. Let's see if we can bring it back up. And there you go. I guess I'll let you make up your own mind, ladies and gentlemen, as to which one to get. Me personally, never will I ever recommend this. But this one, absolutely. I think that this one, with that little bit of gas leaking from the spout over here, from the pump, I think that's very dangerous. I won't be using this stove again. I hope you got something out of this. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper.